Hey, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Buddy Gibbons. It's going to be a fun night, as it always is. You know, I've been thinking about something. I've had sort of a strange week. I joined the cult of Peloton. Okay, it's not really a cult, but we did buy a Peloton bike. And first of all, let me just say that my quads are killing me. I can barely stand here without, shivering and shaking because my quads are killing me. But second of all, it's really interesting to take the Peloton classes and to dive in and see how all these people are so into their whole Peloton thing. I kind of get it now because the classes are super motivational. What I like the most about it, I think, is that they tell you from the beginning, this is a journey. It's a marathon. You're not going to be perfectly in shape tomorrow afternoon after you've done a ride or two or three. It's going to take some time, but you're going to start to see small progress, And they're really great about the motivation thing. It's kind of something that I lack internally, frankly. When I'm needing to do something like that, I need a little external motivation. I know that about myself. It made me start thinking about how other people motivate themselves in their lives. And it brought me to the story of one young man. When he was about 9 years old, he became obsessed with popcorn. He thought that popcorn could be better because popcorn wasn't something that you really would eat at home. It was something that you would only get when you went to the theater. He started to talk about ways to make popcorn better. Popcorn. Nobody ever thought twice about it. This man had microscopes at home where he would start to make hybrids so that he could adjust the amount of moisture in the kernel, things like that. It took us 50 years from the time that he first started playing with popcorn until the time that we knew who Orville Redenbacher was. 50 years! This man focused on one thing. I've heard it said before that anything is interesting if you focus deeply enough on it. Tell me that's not the case. So the moral of all of this is, you can always be great. No matter where you start, no matter how long it takes, you can be great. So let's go be great together. We got a great episode for you tonight. Let's just roll this thing.
This episode is brought to you by Hearback Pro from Hear Technologies. The ability to hear yourself clearly in a recording or live situation is key to delivering your best, most creative performance. The Hearback Pro system, made up of a hub and individual mixers, allows performers in a session or on a gig the ability to dial in exactly what they need to hear in order to be their best. If you're looking for a solution to allow yourself or your clients to hear themselves better, check out Hearback Pro from Hear Technologies.
Oh my gosh, thanks to everybody that's here tonight. Thank you for joining us. We are exceptionally happy to have you here. I'm seeing some new faces this evening. Let me see where these all went. I wanted to say a quick hello to Jason Engel. Nice to see you here, my friend. JD Films 18 says, yo. Yo. There seems to be a few of those. Keith Tannenbaum, he yoed us. And Toby Simmons, she yoed us too. So we're all yoing over here today. I don't know what that's about. I want to just say a quick thank you to the viewers. We mentioned this last week in passing. We got a badge from Facebook that we are one of the top 5% of new providers and new content providers, and that's a huge deal for us. Thank you to you for making that happen for us. We couldn't do it without you. If you haven't liked the Facebook page, I'd appreciate it if you do. Groove Diner After Dark, facebook.com/Groove Diner After Dark. You can do that too. And don't forget to check all of those things out for us. I wanted to remind you that you can get in touch with us at groovedinerafterdark@gmail.com for your chance to be part of the show. In fact, in just a few weeks when we come back, we're going to have what we call It's Your Show. It's tough. Anyway, we're going to have one of those. And you guys, send us your questions. If you want to know anything about anything, what we do, about what I do, about the drums, about whatever, ask. We'll answer it. Anyway, please send us your questions. Every year we do one of those, and it's a great, great episode. We always enjoy doing it, and our viewers always enjoy being part of the action here too. So now, with all of the housekeeping out of the way, and all the nose scratching too. Tonight's episode, Ryan MacMillan, he is the drummer for the Push Stars and Matchbox 20. He is one of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet. In fact, we both have a bit of an affinity for buffalo wings, so we might have killed a few plates of them along the way. Super, super nice guy, and a great, interesting insight into a particular gig that most of us never get to do. He replaced the original drummer in Matchbox 20, but the original drummer stayed in the band and played guitar. And we talk a bit about that and the interesting challenge of that. So we're going to take a look and watch the first half of this, and we'll be back right here in the middle of the show, and we'll talk a little bit more. Here we are. Let's roll that thing, Eli.
Roll it.
Hello and welcome to Groove Diner After Dark. I'm really thrilled tonight to have Ryan MacMillan with me. Ryan and I met just a few weeks ago, actually, at a drummer's breakfast in LA. They got me up out of bed.
Yeah.
But you seem to be like totally on top of things.
I'm an early riser now.
How does that work? I've never known musicians.
I know. I have 2 kids, so
okay,
that's what happens.
How old are they?
They're 11. They're twins.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Boys, girls, one
A
of
boy
each.
and a girl, yeah.
Boy and a girl.
Yeah. Roxy and Leo.
I have twin sisters.
Okay.
So I kind of get the whole dynamic there.
Nice.
Roxy and Leo?
And Leo, yeah.
Good names.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming and hanging with me.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I'm excited to have you here. It's
Me too.
It's been a fun thing to me because we haven't really known each other.
Yeah.
But for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's been fun to me to read and find out about you more and more about you and to watch you play. I've watched a lot of videos.
Oh, okay.
And such. And Ryan has played with so many bands that you've heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you from? How'd this whole drummer thing happen for you?
Okay. Well, I grew up in Boston,
Right.
Mass. I was born there, and I lived there till I was about 27 or so, and then I moved to LA.
Okay.
But I started playing drums very young. I was maybe 3 or 4.
Were you the quintessential pots and pans kid?
I think I was.
Yeah.
And then I got a little drum set when actually my dad played drums a little bit.
Really?
So he brought a drum kit home, but I was too little I couldn't reach the pedals. The seat was too high. So they got me like a small kit.
Right.
My parents did for Christmas or whatever that year.
That's fun.
Yeah, so I started just getting into it really young, and I was just always obsessed with music and went through school, and then I guess after high school I was playing in like a cover band on the weekends doing gigs and stuff. And then I met this songwriter named Chris Trapper, and we started this band called the Push Stars.
Right.
And then we got signed to first to Mago Records,
Mm-hmm.
and then to Capitol Records.
Right.
And so we're actually still a band, but we
Right.
don't play that many shows anymore.
Right.
But we toured probably steadily from like 96 till 2003.
Well, I mean, that band had a pretty significant hit song that did something pretty significant in There's Something About Mary.
Yeah.
So I remember the song pretty well.
Oh,
from
you
the
do?
movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Nice.
How did that even happen?
That I think at the time the Fairley brothers who did that movie, they were friends with our manager.
Oh, no kidding.
I think, or they grew up together. And they, they're from Providence, they're local guys, and they like to, in all their movies, they always kind of have like a local artist or a local something, So they happen to like our band, and it was funny because that song, it was sort of before the record on Capitol came out, that they wanted to use that song, and then it was also on the album. Sure. Yeah, they were just became fans and friends, or
that's cool.
Yeah. And they use this in a couple of their movies, which was
excited about our next guest here to perform a cover of the Steely Dan hit Bad Sneakers from the Me, Myself, and Irene soundtrack. These are the Push Stars.
Five names that I can hardly stand to hear, including yours and mine. One more chip who isn't here. I can see the ladies talking, how the times are getting hard, and that fearsome excavation on Magnolia Boulevard. Yes, I'm going insane, and I'm laughing at the frozen rain. Feels like I'm so alone. Honey, when they gonna send me home? money to spend.
I'm definitely gonna have to check the soundtracks
Yeah,
on both
yeah.
of those.
Cool.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
I like that. What was the pull to LA? What brought you here?
Well, we had kind of slowed down our touring schedule,
Mhm.
and I couldn't take another winter in Boston. I just couldn't take 8
So you're one
months.
of the weather guys.
I could not take another gray sky 8 months. Yeah, I just couldn't handle it anymore. And I was just ready to experience something else, and I had always wanted to live here.
Right.
And I figured if I'm gonna continue playing music,
Mm-hmm.
it would either be here or New York.
Right.
And I didn't want to live in New York.
Do you think it still matters? The whole New York, Nashville, LA thing. You kind of have.
I don't know.
At one point, you had to do that.
Yeah. I don't know anymore. I mean, everything has changed so much that I'm not.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I think there still is a lot of, there is still a lot of music being made in these places, but there's also a lot of music being made in home studios and in houses and all over the place. Right. And you can anybody can do music now from wherever they are.
I can't decide if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I know. I can't decide either. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's good, but
right.
It's so funny though. Growing up as a kid, like the dream was to, get signed to a record deal and like become a, big star or whatever.
With your friends in a band.
Yeah, exactly. And like that just doesn't really exist in the same way anymore, I don't even there was a point in time where I knew every band, what label they were signed to, who their producers were, like
who played second bass on the third track.
Yeah, I mean, I knew all that stuff, like who was on the radio, what play, how many ads they got, what I mean, all those things, and like all that stuff is just like gone,
just gone.
Yeah, but it's good and bad. I mean, it's nice that you can just make music now and put it out, and then it's available to anybody whenever and you kind of do your own promotion, you do your own thing. That part of it is nice. Do
you think you still need a record deal to go big?
I don't know. I mean, people are still getting signed to record companies and however many there are left.
Right.
But it's hard to say. I don't know, because there's a lot of people that just they put out a song and they make a video and they put it on YouTube or whatever, and
boom.
Boom. Yeah. So
and I played last week with somebody who did that very thing.
Oh, okay.
He did a cover of a song and it exploded. And I think he said he had 11 million views of that particular song.
Wow.
Just a cover.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's weird to see what takes off.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Something you and I have in common.
Mm-hmm.
We're both singing drummers.
Oh, nice. Okay.
How has that helped you as a player? And in your career, for that matter.
Yeah, it's kind of unusual. So if you can sing like backgrounds or you can sing harmonies or whatever, it makes you a little more maybe viable as a player. Or like, oh, this guy can sing too.
Yeah, you don't want me singing lead ever.
Yeah. No, I don't like to sing. I've done it a few times just for fun, but but actually, the Push Stars made a Christmas record last year. Last year we made it, and I sang vocals on the song "Christmas Time Is Here" by Vince Guaraldi.
Nice.
And I do my best Chet Baker.
Did you? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely looking for that. Be sure you find that.
Yes,
one.
it's out there. It's on.
Did you start off as a drummer or a singer, or did they kind of?
Yeah, no, I started off as a drummer.
You did,
for
okay.
sure. Yeah, but I was into singing from a young age, and I was in chorus and all that stuff all through high school, and yeah. So yeah, I mean, I like to sing. I would, I'm definitely not a lead singer.
Same. People ask me all the time how I work out the coordination of singing with drumming, and the answer is I don't.
Right.
I've been doing it so long that it just.
Yeah, it just happens.
Yeah. For you, did you have to think about it?
No, I never thought about it.
Me either.
Yeah, it just happens naturally.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it kind of becomes a fifth limb on some level.
I guess so.
Sort of.
Yeah, I've never had. It's not like playing bass and singing. Guys who do that to me are like, wow, that seems really hard. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, Sting, Paul McCartney.
Right.
Doug Pinnick from
Oh, that's true, from King's X. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's cool.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's harder than drumming and singing.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just because you're good at it.
I don't know. Sure, I'll take
Sure.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go with that.
I wonder if they would say the same. Maybe they picked it up and just.
Yeah, and it just happened for them. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a really awful piano player.
I can't play piano.
I'm okay at it enough to get myself in trouble. But I can't even begin to imagine singing and doing that. So and people do it all the time.
I took piano a little bit when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Studied a little bit, but I thought that I would be able to kind of get it quickly because, you're doing two things at once. Yeah, it's percussion.
Yeah.
But it's like your fingers and your hands and your feet, very different.
Yes.
Even now, I've been trying to learn some things on the piano, and like the simplest stuff, if you're playing two different melodies with your hands, it's like my mind is it takes some time to get that comprehension, so, but it's fun. Like piano is like one of my favorite instruments.
Yeah, for sure.
And I need to start working on it a little bit.
Well, in listening to you play, I've actually seen you play live with Matchbox 20.
Okay, yeah.
I think it was Nashville, but I also saw Matchbox here.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't remember if it was Nashville or if it was here at Staples, one or the other.
Yeah.
But you were playing with them. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you about it is, you seem like the kind of guy who is the consummate song drummer. Like I listened to stuff online that you were playing. I watched your Live from Daryl's House episode. I watched some of that.
Yeah.
And I was really taken. First, your drums just sound great.
Oh, thanks.
They really sound good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and a lot of that I think has to do with your touch on the drums. You are not a hard hitter.
No.
At all.
Yeah.
And so many times guys pride themselves on being a hard hitter. I'm this big muscular guy, and I use a big fat stick, and I have to work hard not to overhit.
Not to hit hard, yeah.
And I was really taken by how deep your groove was while you were just playing with. It really appears to be minimal effort. I'm sure that's not the case, but you were so relaxed and everything. The music felt that way.
Yeah.
Is that something that you learned? Is that part of who you are? How did that happen? That's not common.
Yeah, I think it's maybe like the way that I learned the drums was listening to records and then playing along to them and emulating them. And
tell me one record. I got to know. Tell me something.
So many, God. Right. I mean, as a kid, it was like I'd play along to like the Beatles records, Van Halen, Rush.
First song I ever learned was Jump.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah. That's a hard song.
Yeah, well,
the middle
I didn't do it right.
Okay. So I remember that like the first song I learned like note for note and was like super proud of was Tom Sawyer.
I have the same thing in common, actually.
I was like, like I'm gonna learn this song, and I was like obsessed with Rush at that.
Were you?
Yeah, this was probably like, I don't know, 6th, 7th grade, 8th grade, something like that, and I just sat and like listened to Moving Pictures and Signals and all of them, just trying to pick apart and figure out, how to play the stuff. But I think too, just like I've always played with singer-songwriters, and I've always liked drummers who don't overplay or just play what's appropriate for the music. Those have been the guys that I love, Ringo, Bernard Purdie, Clyde Stubblefield, Stevie Wonder, even though like Neil Peart and those guys too, like and Alex Van Halen, like I love them, but they also play like what's exactly right for those songs.
For those songs, right? Yeah.
But yeah, I just have always kind of not wanted to get in the way of the song and just make it as musical as I can, and always maybe try and throw a little something in there that's like drummery, or like a drummer might be like, oh, that's right. I like that. But yeah, I think it's maybe it just kind of came to me, and also like I studied jazz a lot when I was a kid, so listening was the biggest part of playing with other people playing jazz. You got to listen to everything that's going on at all times and not get in the way.
Right.
So that's maybe kind of where my touch came from. because you're playing kind of lightly.
Yeah.
And yeah, and actually as I've gotten older, I think I play even less
Do you?
loud, and quieter.
Man, I need to take lessons. I try. I do.
Yeah.
I really I feel like I'm just doing this. Oh my God, it's so loud. Well, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I'm from a marching band background.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's really different. I've always been envious of you guys that grew up playing drum set. I didn't do that. I didn't even get my first drum set until I was 21.
Oh wow.
So for me, it was a real change. I was totally this guy. And you guys that do that and learn it all so young, I'm envious.
Just always into it I knew from the second I played the drums, this is what I want to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
You actually played with one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yeah?
Yeah, Tonic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of that band. And,
Okay,
and it's all about the songs. And, and
Emerson's
voice, his vocals are just so good. I've always been really, that's a gig I've always wanted to do. And here you are. So playing with singer-songwriters is a different skill set than and I would certainly say that Tonic and Emerson is a singer-songwriter kind of thing.
Definitely.
Tell me about dealing in that world, because singer-songwriters can be, we'll say, finicky about how you approach their parts and whatnot. How do you deal with that when you're specifically dealing with singer-songwriter types? Whether they're playing a coffee house or Tonic in front of thousands of people.
I just try and stay out of the way, and generally I don't get a whole lot of feedback. If anything, it's just maybe this needs to be a little, faster or harder or whatever it is. But I just sort of pay attention to where they are and don't overpower them or do anything to get in the way of what they're doing. But I think I kind of approach that with any music I'm playing, but especially with singer-songwriters, it's maybe more, I don't know. I think people are listening to the lyrics. Yeah. Which is odd because I don't ever hear the lyrics.
No, even as a singer.
Yeah, it's weird. I'll listen to a song 100 times before I know what the song's about.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm always just listening to the rhythm and how the whole song is working.
Yeah.
For me to actually figure out what the song is about or what they're saying, sometimes can take me a long time.
So you find yourself singing the wrong lyrics?
Absolutely, all the time. All the time. In the Push Stars, I would sometimes I'd be singing one of the songs and Chris would be like, "What?" He's like, "What are you singing? Those aren't the words." I'm like, "They're not?" He's like, "No."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Everything shines becomes, I don't know, everything's mine.
Yes. Everything's mine all the time.
That's funny.
Yeah.
The story of how you got the gig with Matchbox 20 is fairly well documented. I don't want to go back through that.
Okay.
That's easy for people to find if they want to Google how did he get the gig with Matchbox 20.
Right.
What I want to know is this. You replaced Paul Doucette, who stayed in the band.
Yes.
So the drummer switched to guitar, and you were on stage with the guy that originated the parts.
Right.
I can't really fathom how challenging that must have been.
It definitely was challenging because Paul and I are such different drummers.
Yes.
Where we couldn't be more opposite.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he Paul hits the drums really hard.
Right.
And he's very he's got a lot of we're just complete opposites in that way. But all the parts that he writes are great.
Right. Yeah. Talk about fitting the song.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I got to record with them. I recorded 6 songs with them for an EP for their a greatest hits record.
Sure.
So those songs that I recorded with them, obviously whenever we played them felt great.
Of course.
And the other ones, there were some that were I really had to work on them and really kind of dissect them because they're very particular, and those guys are very particular about it being exactly like it is on the record, and tempos and all that stuff.
I assume it was clicked.
It was clicked, yeah. So that was the first gig I actually ever did where I played to a click the whole show, yeah.
Really?
So yeah, it was challenging, but Paul was the one who brought me in to to the whole to the whole situation. So he had made a solo record that I played on, because the Push Stars had opened for Matchbox. That's how we met. Yeah. So, and at the end of that tour, they all went off to make their own records, and Paul asked me to play on his solo record.
He didn't play on his own solo record?
I think he played on one song.
Interesting.
But yeah, he's like, he just doesn't really enjoy playing drums.
Okay.
He likes to play piano, he likes to play guitar, he likes to sing and write, and
that's fair.
He's mostly into, writing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was it was definitely challenging. It was
Posed
difficult.
some unique challenges for you, I would assume.
Yeah.
Learning the parts exactly?
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of them.
Did you have any freedom within the parts?
Yeah. A little bit.
Once you got established?
Yeah. But there were certain things that like you just kind of had to do them, or it wouldn't sound right, or feels, or our groove and our feel is just so different. I'm way more laid back and way more kind of behind the beat pocket. And some of that stuff you really got to push it. And so that was a challenge for me. Okay. And actually, like, after I toured with them, I just played a couple of shows with them recently this summer. Did you? And I hadn't played with them since 2011 or 12. Okay. So like 10 years or more. There you go. And it was so, it's like all this stuff came back to me very quickly, like riding a bike. I had to learn a couple new tunes because they had made another record.
Yeah, right, of course.
But it was super fun. It was really fun to do it again.
I bet.
Yeah, and I had approached it differently too this time, because I've just grown as a drummer and as a musician, and of course. So I had a different kind of mindset when I went back to play with them too. It's one thing about it. Maybe it's the best thing about becoming a more seasoned drummer. Mm-hmm. You get a little age on you. Your playing changes. Definitely. And I think I play better now than I ever have. Yeah. And I'm betting you do too. I absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a much better drummer now. Although sometimes I'll hear recordings of stuff that I did when I was really young, and I listen. I'm like, man, was I better then? Yeah, I've got a few of those. I was like, that's interesting that I made that choice at 19 years old. Right. Yeah. But it's funny you mentioned that. Literally this afternoon. Yeah. I heard something from when I was about 3 years into my drum kit world, and for whatever reason, I decided to record a song with a halftime shuffle. And I don't think I wouldn't dive into that the same way now, Right. But I just dove in, and I was like, that doesn't suck, It was a complete surprise. Yeah, that's fun. I love that.
The all-new GrooveDinerAfterDark.com is your home for all the things that groove. Watch live episodes, visit the archives, check out the YouTube channel, learn more about your host. Own some merchandise. We've got it all under one roof. Updates will continue to roll out throughout the season, including video drum lessons, industry coaching, production tips, and much more. Tune in for the show, then visit the website each and every week so that you can answer that most important question. Do you groove?
What a great half of an interview so far, right? One of the things that stuck out to me was his talking about Tom Sawyer and how it's a rite of passage. It doesn't matter what style of drummer you are, you got to learn Tom Sawyer. And you got to learn it note for note. I mean, note for note. It's just insane how that's one of the things that we all have to do. And I think it comes with a little bit of this feeling and this sensation of feeling like we kind of made it there. We can do this thing. So if you haven't yet, drummers, dive in. It's time. Go out there and learn Tom Sawyer by Rush, in case you don't know. It looks like we actually have Ryan here with us now. Ryan, thanks for joining us live here on YouTube. If you have questions for Ryan during the course of the show, hit him up, because he can see and answer you right now, or we can talk about it when we come back later on. I wanted to say a quick thank you to John Bonner joining us from North Carolina, Renee Beavers from right out here in California. Thank you so much. We have people from all over the world. Annette Meisel, she's from Germany. I love it. Thank you. Hope Armstrong, she's my niece. My family actually supports me. And Hope is in Nashville, Tennessee. Arthur DePala, I didn't get where you were, but thank you so much for joining us. And Kendall Johnson in Mississippi, we have people from all around the country and all over the world. We definitely have our contingent. It's Charles Anderson's birthday today down in South Africa. So happy birthday, Charles.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. He joins us week in and week out. He's absolutely one of the guys that hangs with us every week. We also have our contingent here from Australia. So thank you everybody for joining us. It's fun for us, man. People around the world, people all over the country. And all the time I get questions about what's that little number on the screen. If you're watching on Facebook, you may see this little number at the top. It looks like there's however many people watching. I don't even know how many people I've got watching right now. But the question is always, what is that number? And the answer is, that's the number of your friends that are currently watching with you. So if your number's low, invite them to come to the show. Make sure that they come and they like and they subscribe and do all those things that we all do. It does help us out the more subscribers we have. So I'll stop. But it would help us a lot. Keith Tannenbaum. Yes, Ryan is a very good hiker. We all need to do that for sure. Donnie Satzer, thanks for being here tonight, my friend. Good to see you. It's always good to have everybody joining us. I wanted to tell you guys one of the other things that caught my ear during the course of that discussion with Ryan was how playing for the song can be different. Sometimes that can be bombastic and loud and fast and lots of notes. Sometimes it can be playing light as a feather. And I jokingly said that I just kind of am stupid loud about things all the time, just because I'm such a big muscular guy and whatnot. But Ryan's no slouch from the size perspective either. He's a dude, and tall guy like me and all of that. But he developed that touch. And Ryan, I'm so jealous of that. Seriously, the next time we're having hot wings, I need you to show me how you do that. You can use a couple of drumettes and just show me how that works, okay? You can just show me at the table what's going on that I'm missing out on. Brian Nolan, good to have you with us again this week. Thanks for joining us again. This is excellent. I love seeing everybody here. So I wanted to talk about something new tonight. I don't know how many of you have noticed there's a new drum set. I'm sitting behind a brand new, it's a Birch Shell DW Collector series. It is mini lugs, so the tiny little lugs here, they don't typically do a lot of those. And this Birch Shell kit has the greatest finish in the world. We're going to have Eli show you the kit. Take a look at this thing. Is this not insane? I mean, from what D-Dub told me, there are only 2 of them like this in the world. I have this one, and Sean Kenny from Alice in Chains has the other one. So it's kind of a fun finish just to know that it exists in the world at all. It's a beautiful sounding drum set. Man, I can't wait to let you guys hear it. And in fact, on that note, I used this kit recording with Stephen Glickman, and the song is almost finished, and the video production is coming. So we're going to be releasing that single sooner rather than later. And you'll be able to hear this very drum set doing its thing on that song. So I know you'll enjoy the sound of it as much as I do. All right, so we're going to dive back in and finish up with part 2 of the really amazing, wonderful interview with Ryan. Here we go.
There's a lady come lately, she's dancing with me in the street. And now I know we're both faking, I'm not waiting for loose ends to meet. See, I'm holding her close and I don't even know her last name. And I might hit myself in the morning, but tonight it's okay. spent the night at this party with people that I hardly knew. And they were talking ambition as I was listening my resentment grew. So I moaned in the corner and drank till I wasn't afraid. I said I might hate myself in the morning, but you're all such a waste. See, we know no blood flows in the dry desert clay. Hard lessons I learned on an October day, and I can't shake them all. Thank you so much, everybody. Good night.
So you've been off the road for a while.
Yes. It's like, I think probably the last, after Matchbox, I toured with Tonic for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was off for a while after that because my kids were born. And I played with this band called the Freddie Jones Band for a little bit, and touring with them. I went back and did a couple Push Stars things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of who else. I play with this artist named Pearl a Day. She's I recorded a record with her like 11 years ago.
She's not related to Meatloaf, is she?
She is, yeah.
Okay.
She's Meatloaf's daughter.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So I recorded on her record. I think it was 10 years ago.
Okay.
And we play shows. We play a few shows a year.
Right.
So whenever she wants to play, I play with her.
That's cool.
Which is fun. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I haven't done a road gig in a while. It's probably been like at least 4 years, maybe.
No kidding.
Since I did the Freddie Jones thing.
You know what though? The pandemic skewed that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It was. I know, because the last show I played was like February of. When did it start? 2019.
Yeah, 2020.
2020. Yeah. So like right after. So yeah, it was like a month later. Everything was done.
I mentioned earlier I'd done a gig. It's now 2 weeks ago, nearly.
Yeah.
That was the first live show I'd done in 5 years.
Oh wow.
First one.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know if I'd remember how to do a live show.
Yeah.
Because I live in the studio.
Right.
So for me, it was like,
this
catharsis,
Totally, yeah. It was fun. Yeah, that was the same thing like with Matchbox, because they hadn't even played a show in 5 years.
Right.
And they called me to do these 2 shows in Canada, and so we were all like, it was the first time they'd played a show in 5 years, and it was the first time I played with them in over 10. So it was good, but it felt good. Like, it felt good to do that.
We have a lot of kids that watch the show, and one of the questions that I get is, if somebody were to say to you, what's a piece of advice that I could have if I'm replacing somebody in an established band, what would you tell them is the most important thing that you can do as a new drummer?
Well, one is to be a person that is easy and flexible, to be a person that can come in and be chill. you're there to do your job, and you speak when spoken to, and you just kind of,
Yeah.
you're not a huge personality, and you're not in the way of what's going on, because a band that's established like that for that long, there's such a dynamic that happens, and it's like that's a marriage and a family and a whole thing.
For sure.
So you have to figure out your way into that family slowly.
Right.
So I always say, just be cool.
Right.
Learn your parts.
Right.
Show up on time, and do the best you can do, and you sort of your own person, your own player, and your own personality. Bring that with you, but sometimes it's nice. It's like a breath of fresh air, a new person.
Sure.
Shake things up, but yeah, if you're not cool,
Yeah,
it's not gonna last too long.
Definitely not.
So,
well, on the flip side of that,
yeah,
and that, kids, is when you flip a record over.
Side B.
Yeah, if you, on the flip side of that, for somebody that's, say, growing up in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi,
Yeah.
Who's wanting to get into the music industry
Yeah.
today, do you have any words of wisdom?
Oh my God, I would say, if you're inspired, learn to write. Learn to write music. Learn to write songs, or at least understand. Like learn maybe another instrument that's melodic, piano, guitar, because it makes you much more of a musician than just a drummer, and you can relate to musicians in a different way than you can if you don't know that skill or have that skill. And I don't really have that skill. I never really learned. I mean, I know the basis things, but if I were to go back and start over again, I probably would have played another instrument as well. And the other thing I would say is learn to record and learn to do your own recording. And if you can set up a studio or whatever, those are the two main things I think now that keep a drummer working.
Sure.
Sure. Because you never know when you're going to actually get hired to play or be on, sessions and things like that. That's just that's like a thing of the past almost now. Yeah. Even for the top guys that, So yeah, I would learn 2 instruments, learn about writing if you can, or if you're inspired, if some people don't want to do that, and that's, that's fine. But that's really the way to make money, is writing songs and getting them out there.
It's my entire career.
Yeah.
At this point.
That's that's it. So yeah, I would say that, and learn how to record, learn how to use, Pro Tools or GarageBand or Logic or whatever software you want to figure out.
At least GarageBand.
Yeah. Just one of those. And that's, that I think that's key now.
We had a little chat off camera before the show started about your collectible snare drums. Just tell me about a couple of them and why you dig them, because there are 30 snare drums over there.
Yeah, totally. Well, for sure, the Black Beauty that I got.
Tell me the Black Beauty story.
I think it's somewhere between 1928 and 1932 or something. It's like the transition from the swirl pattern to the flower pattern. Okay. So it's a flower pattern.
Right.
And yeah, the kids went back. My kids were back in school after the pandemic, and one of the teachers there contacted me that she inherited this drum and she knew it was worth some money, and would I be interested, or anyone I know be interested in the drum? She sent me a picture of it. Right. And so I said yes. I'll be.
And you
right
lost
over.
your mind.
I said yeah, that's sure. I'd love to check it out. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
And so I ended up buying it, and it's like my favorite snare drum.
Nice.
It sounds amazing.
I love that you play a 1930s snare drum.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I kind of want to take it everywhere I go, but I'm like, I can't take this to a church parking lot gig. Right. Even though I want to. Right. But I definitely take it to every recording session. Right. And I haven't used it live yet, but I probably will somewhere.
I mean, for as much as we love our drums and baby them, the truth is there are construction tools.
Yeah.
And like that is my live kit that you're sitting behind. This is my studio's kit that I'm sitting behind. Right. And that's far more expensive and fancy and whatnot than this one is. But that's the one that I take.
That goes in the road.
Gigs,
Yeah. I mean, you gotta take what inspires you.
Right.
But yeah, I've been playing that one a lot.
I love that.
Lately,
I love that story.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, I have one other one.
Yeah.
So my dad had a drum set when I was a kid that I still have. It's a WFL,
Oh, wow.
like 1957, 58 WFL, and it's a maroon and gold Duco.
Yeah.
And it's odd color. I've never really seen.
I haven't seen the maroon and gold.
Yeah, it's pretty rare.
Duco means dual color.
Yeah, Duco, dual color.
Yeah.
And that snare drum was like my main snare drum forever. And I used to take that on the road, and I lost it in New York City.
Oh.
Like we loaded out one night and it didn't come, we get to the next show and I'm like, where's my snare drum?
Right.
And I was devastated. And my cymbals too. I left my cymbals in.
That's painful.
It was not a good night. And so I'm like, oh my God, in New York City, they're gone. It's gone. It's gone. So a year later, I actually got my cymbals back, called the club, and they're like, oh yeah, we have your cymbals. A year later, this was this bar called Brownies in Lower East Side. And I was like, the dressing room was a like dungeon basement, right?
Right.
So I was down there with the band, and my brother was there, and like a friend or something, and there was like this like closet door.
Come on.
That I opened up and I walked in, and they shut the door behind me, and it was like, there was just like a bunch of junk in there,
Right.
like leftover stands and broken things.
Right.
And when they shut the door, there was like a shelf sitting here and some packing blankets, and I lifted up the packing blanket, and sure enough, there's my drum.
Come on.
Sitting in the case.
That's unbelievable.
I pulled it down. I was like, oh my God. I mean, my heart was like almost pounding out of my chest.
Yeah.
And I opened the case, and I'm like, there it is, untouched.
So
they opened the door. They like locked me in there.
Right.
They opened the door, and I'm like holding the drum. They were all like, oh my God.
That's amazing.
That was so.
That actually, I have a similar story, but that's better.
Yeah.
I had a custom ride cymbal. That
Uh-huh.
was one of a kind. It was 18-inch ride cymbal.
Okay.
With a bunch of rivets and all this.
Yeah.
And I left it behind at the Viper Room here in LA.
Oh man.
And I was oh my God, I lost it because I loved that cymbal.
Yeah, sure.
It was my secondary ride, and it was kind of the ballad ride, if you will.
Yeah.
About a year later, I went back to the Viper Room, and it was sitting kind of in the edging of the Viper Room on stage.
Oh my
It
God.
never moved. I guess that I
They
just
didn't
put
even
it
see
there, and nobody ever saw it.
Wow.
So I got it back
So you
about
got
a
it
year
back.
later. Yeah, but it's not as good
That's
as your snare drum story, though.
I mean, I would say that's an equal.
I don't know. That snare drum story is pretty good.
I mean, I couldn't believe that. I literally was like, this is shocking that it's still here. And it's just sitting in the case.
Yeah. Oh, that's astonishing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
well, we have a segment that we do called Blast Beats. So here we go. We're going to start Blast Beats.
Okay.
All right, you ready? First up, cat or dog?
Dog.
I already knew the answer to that one. Double pedal or double kick drum?
Ooh, double kick drum.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You like that whole big thing?
I do, yeah.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah. Just go for it.
Yeah, right?
Go
Seriously.
for it.
Just do it. Hip hop or rock?
Hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're a rock musician?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Moving from Boston. Do you like to fish?
No.
No?
Not really.
Oh, interesting.
I always get like freaked out when I catch the fish.
Oh,
I feel
okay.
terrible about it.
Do you?
Yeah.
So I assume hunting is an absolute
I've
no.
never
Yeah,
hunted,
right.
no.
I went hunting twice in my life because I had to.
Uh-huh.
I'm from Mississippi. I don't have any choice in this.
Of course, yeah.
And I remember being two things: super cold
Uh-huh.
and super bored.
Right.
And I'm like, no
You're like,
thanks.
I'm good. Thanks. Yeah.
Would you rather text someone or talk with someone?
Talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. This might be an interesting question for
Okay.
you. New York style or Chicago style?
Ooh, New York.
Yeah, I figured. You're just wrong about that.
Well, I make my own pizza, so.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'm coming over.
I love making.
I'm-
I love
I'm-
making pizza. Yes, I'll have you over. for
Please.
pizza.
I'm a pizza fanatic.
Are you?
So is Eli over
Oh
here.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Do you have one of those pizza ovens that are really popular now?
I do have it's like those little Neapolitan style ovens.
Do
Yeah.
you? Right?
I do, but I actually prefer making pizza just on a regular oven.
Do you?
And it's more New York style.
Okay.
Because those like rapid fire pizzas,
Yeah.
that are cooked in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
They're good. They're just a totally different style. The crust is very soft, and you got to eat them right away. They don't. I don't know.
One single Desert Island album. One.
Kind of Blue, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's one of those records that like I've been listening to for 30 years.
Fair enough.
And I never get tired of it.
Got it.
And every time I hear it, I hear something different.
Right.
Yeah. Just I don't know, something about that record. I love it.
That's really cool. That's not a choice I expected at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was your first celebrity crush?
It was God, what is her name? She was in The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia.
Christy McNichol?
Christy McNichol.
There it is.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Christy McNichol.
I get that.
Totally first celebrity
I can see
crush.
that.
Major.
I can see
Major.
that.
Yeah.
Have you ever worn sandals and socks?
On purpose? Probably in the house.
Okay.
If I had socks on and was like running outside to get something.
Right.
But not, I don't think I've ever done that out in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We can be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beach resort or mountain retreat?
Ooh. Beach resort.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
There's just something about it.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the mountains, but beach resort.
That's the cool part about living here. You can do both in a day.
Yeah, that's true.
If
Yeah.
you want. I mean, Shawshank or Godfather?
Man, that is tough. I'm going to say Shawshank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
I mean, Godfather's amazing.
I mean, they're both
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But something about Shawshank is, I love that story.
Yeah, me
Just
too.
love it. Yeah, it's
Me too.
amazing.
In your real life,
Mm-hmm.
are you organized or you mess?
Very organized.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about in your musical life?
Pretty organized.
Still organized?
I
Okay.
think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
That's cool. I get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
How good are you at ping pong?
Ping pong. I would say
Like 1 to 10. 10 being the guys
1 to
that
10.
they play upside down and
yeah, maybe 4 or 5.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Me too.
Okay.
Why is Grease the greatest movie of all time?
Grease.
Yeah.
Grease is the word.
There's the answer. Somebody gets that. That's it.
Grease is the word.
There it is, right there.
Olivia Newton-John.
There
Of course.
also a valid answer. We have only 2 more questions to go tonight, and then one comment if you would.
Mm-hmm.
Question 1: Your Mount Rushmore. There are 4 people on Mount Rushmore, 4 presidents of drummers. Who are your 4?
My 4.
4.
Okay.
And I know how hard that 4th one is.
Oh man. Okay. Stevie Wonder.
Not a lot of people even realize he's a drummer, but he's not just a drummer.
Oh man.
He's a great drummer.
He's an amazing
Yeah.
drummer. Yeah. Bernard Purdie.
Yeah, sure.
Elvin Jones.
Yeah.
All right. This is gonna be a weird one.
Yeah.
But love this drummer. Gary Malabar.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
he's freaking great.
Love him.
Are you
love
kidding?
his playing.
The sound of that broken china cymbal alone makes him worth listening to.
Totally.
Yeah.
He's so good, man. His
Yeah.
feel is.
Yeah.
I just love his feel.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
like he played on so many records that I didn't even
Yeah, right.
know, like Moon Dance
Yeah,
by
right.
Van Morrison. He
Mhm.
played on that record.
Mhm.
Eddie Money.
I didn't know that.
Baby Hold On to Me.
I didn't know that was him.
Spat.
That's him?
Yeah,
There
that's
you
him.
go.
Love him.
That's good.
yeah. Phil Collins too. He's
Yeah, see, that's
he's
fine.
yes. It's fine. But I love him too.
Yeah, it feels hard to leave off of any list, right?
Yeah. There's so many, man. There's so many great players.
Sure.
But yeah, I think Stevie and Bernard are like,
1A and 1B.
yeah, they're just,
I get that.
yeah, feel wise and like it's just it can't be emulated, you
Right.
know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got anything you're working on currently that you'd like to share?
Sure. Yeah. So I started this project about a year ago with a woman named Brianna Ellison,
Okay.
and she's a singer-songwriter, and she plays piano
Okay.
and French horn.
Right.
And
Wait, I'm sorry.
right.
Not simultaneously.
Yeah. She has done it simultaneously.
That's awesome.
She has that skill.
That's fantastic.
But we've been working on this project. It's called Petite Gems.
Okay.
I wanted to call it Little Gems,
Right.
but she didn't like little, so we went with petite.
Okay.
instead.
Fair enough.
And right now it's just the two of us. We've been recording stuff, and there'll probably be other people playing with us when we play.
Sure.
But it's been super fun, and it's been like, I think over the pandemic I kind of lost. I didn't really play the drums at all for like 2 years. Not didn't even practice or do anything. And my first gig back was last November, and it was from Kelly King.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, Kelly.
Our mutual friend.
Yeah, he was out of town, and he asked me if I could sit in and do this gig. And I met
see a lot of similarities in your playing, by the way, yours and Kelly's.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You guys have some similarities.
Yeah,
yeah.
She was at that gig, and we met at that gig, and started playing like a couple weeks later, and like now we have a whole.
That's fantastic.
Thing. Yeah, it's been super fun.
So we'll be on the lookout for that LA.
Yeah. So yeah, we actually sometimes go down to like Santa Monica and busk.
No kidding.
Or just the two of us will just set up and play like on the
Interesting.
Santa Monica Pier.
Really?
Not on the pier, but like in the
The
park.
promenade.
There.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll do like covers and originals, and it's super fun.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we have some stuff that hopefully will be out very soon.
All right.
Just needs to get like finished, mixed and stuff.
Sure.
But
that's really cool.
yeah, so that's been kind of what's kept me inspired.
Right.
To play again.
All right, I love that.
Yeah,
I get that. When the pandemic started, and at first it was a couple of weeks we'll be back, in a couple of months we'll be back.
I know.
Right.
It's crazy.
For me, it was like I'm going to be the best drummer I've ever been. And then by the 7th month of it, I'm like, I don't want to look at these things anymore.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I get it. So the final, most important question of the day.
Okay.
This defines whether or not you and I can be in the same room with each other.
Okay.
Okay. What is your favorite Rick Springfield song?
Oh man.
Don't say Jesse's Girl. You can do better.
What would you say? Like, what was his first hit?
Really, it was Jesse's Girl.
Was it Jesse's Girl?
I mean, it's his anthem. In that very seat where you are, his bass player that did Jesse's Girl was here.
Oh, was here. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
and we talked about that. He talked about how anthemic that song became.
Right.
It really
he played
was
bass on it.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's in the video wearing the striped shirt.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
if you ever watch the video, if it just comes by the guy in the white striped shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, is him. But
Don't talk to strangers.
Yeah, right. Don't
love somebody.
Love somebody's a good one. Yeah.
I've done everything for you.
That's a good one.
A Fear of the Heart.
It's also a good one. Yeah.
Don't talk to strangers. That's a good song. I like that.
See, my favorite song of his is Venus in Overdrive, which nobody knows because it came out in 2012.
Oh, okay. It's a new song.
Yeah, and I maintain that if it had been released by, say, Justin Bieber, that it would have been a giant hit. Yeah, because it's really good.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, I just love it. So,
I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you. This has been fun.
Yeah, no, it's super fun. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
Groove Diner After Dark, the store. Get your official Groove Diner merchandise by visiting our new store at groovedinerafterdark.com. Coffee mugs, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, pint glasses, stickers. Now you can show your support of Groove Diner After Dark from head to toe. Simply visit our website or click the link in this video description and get your gear today. Thank you for your support. It's funny. Eli just pointed out everybody knows Rick Springfield songs, and people blank when I ask the question live. And it's so true. I mean, how many times have you been sitting there trying to remember something like, somebody's name or whatever, let alone a song from 20 years ago or 30 years ago or 40 years ago for that matter. Ryan, thank you so much for being here. This was a great, fun interview. It was really, really a tremendous thing. And I loved getting to know some of the ins and outs of working in the bands that you've worked with. We look forward to checking out Petite Gems. We put the links up for that if you'd like to check those out. And the other one was called Pollution, spelled in a kind of funky way. We also put that up so you can find that. Definitely check him out. And if you happen to be, 3rd Street Promenade and you run across somebody that looks kind of like Ryan, it's because it's Ryan.
So he's out there busking, doing his thing. So be sure you tell him that you saw him here on the show. One of the things that really, I don't know, most of our audience plays some sort of instrument. I don't know how many of you have played lots of gigs. One of the questions I'm often asked is, what was the best gig I ever played? And the answer is not one of the giant gigs. It's this little coffee house gig where there were like, more people in the band than in the coffee house kind of thing. But it was this moment, this state of euphoria that we felt on stage. It was like we were looking down on ourselves, watching ourselves play. And that was a feeling that I've subsequently tried to replicate, tried to find. And watching that Daryl's House clip at the beginning of that segment, I could sense that there was that bit of euphoria. The band was there in it. So was Ryan. I mean, he was killing on that drum solo. And the crowd, you could sense the energy that was flowing, the synergy, in fact. I just love that. And I know that that's something we all kind of keep searching for, is that feeling and sense of euphoria. The advice about learning to write and play multiple instruments, yes. Can't stress it enough. I have no career. There's no show. I'm not sitting here with Eli. You guys have never heard of me, if not for the fact that I write music a little bit. If not for that, I'm working at the paper mill. And it's such an extreme addition to your skill set that you simply can't explain what it means to the ability to make a living for a lifetime in the music industry. Please learn to write more. Please learn to play multiple instruments. Whether you're a guitar player, you need to learn how to play drums, if for no other reason, so that you know how to talk to us. My goodness, I mean, how many times, and every drummer that's watching this can attest to this, will look at the guitar player and say, so how does the song go? And the guitar player will go, I'm thinking something like this. How's the song go? Play the guitar part, would you? So that I can find I'm the drummer, I'll find the drum part. How's it go? Even just something like that, so that we can have that dialogue in that language. It's so important. Oh man. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Again, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell your friends, tell your friends, tell your friends. We need more and more. We've had a lot of new people here. John Bonner, thank you so much for being here. You've been a great addition thank you for all your comments. We definitely have seen them. It's been a lot of fun having you here. We've got so many new people. Jason Engel, thank you for being here with us tonight as well. I will say one thing. Renee Beavers mentioned Stevie Wonder on Superstition. The drumming on that is so heavy. That's so good, man. And I can't wait to try the pizza, because the pizza's getting some pretty serious props over here, Ryan. We might need to make that happen. Dan Lavery, thank you for joining us, and thanks for confirming the pizza. We need it.
I'm joining you.
Yeah, I know. Eli's going to be there with us too, so we got to have that, Ryan. Let's make it happen. All right, we again are taking a mid-season break. We're going to be taking about 3 or 4 weeks off to upgrade the studio, some new gear, and we will be back with. I'm not even going to tell you who the first 2 guests of the second half of the season are, because they're that good.
It's going to be great.
It's so good. We are having a ball with all of these interviews, and I think you're going to love the upcoming. We've got 7 more at least to go for this season, so we're only halfway done. But we'll see you in about a month. We'll definitely be pre-promoting and let you know when we're back. Until then, have a great month. Go make some music together and try to take care of each other. Eli, take us out of here.
Good night, everybody.